going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well, having a good Wednesday. Yes, it is Wednesday the 24th of July, and we do have some more transfer news for you. A little bit of an update when it comes to Ugarte. Yes, and possibly a sky-high transfer valuation for the PSG midfielder, which might make United go, whoa, not interested in all that. 70 million euros. Same price you're looking for Neves. Very interesting, certainly. So we'll be chatting about that. We'll be talking also about Ligt, the latest when it comes to United's pursuit of the Bayern Munich centre-back, and how the bids we've put in so far have been below the valuation that Bayern Munich are looking for. What does that mean? Are Manchester United trying to buy themselves time? Is it a one-in, one-out situation? Are we even going to get the Dutch centre-back, the former Ajax captain? So we'll be chatting about that. United maybe have entered the race for Fofana, and also the continuation of the interest in Mazraoui, as possibly United look to sign a right-back in this transfer window too. But how is everybody doing? Hope you're all doing good. Can see you all in the chat here at the moment. PK says morning. Owen, good morning. Kristen says morning all. What else are people saying here? Nessie says good morning, UV fam. Yes, lots of people getting involved. Of course, I am riding solo this morning because tour is about to begin. Flex, KG, Just Josh Media, Graphics Guru, Visual Ninja are going to be flying out to the United States on their way out to the US of A today. So you're going to be getting not only your transfer views every single morning with yours truly, but also, of course, you're going to be getting that top tier preseason content. It's just about to start. It's just around the corner. So you're going to see Flex and KG and Josh on their travels. You're going to see stadium tours. You're going to see player interviews. You're going to see Flex and KG shows. You're going to see collaborations. You're going to see everything. When it comes to the match day stuff, you're going to see me here in the Osylum, and Americanized Osylum. Yes, that's all my hints. I've got some things that planned up my sleeve. I've got my things planned up my sleeve when it comes to the Osylum this year. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So tour starts now. Well, not officially. For me, tour doesn't start until you get that first video from Flex and KG, whether they're in the airport, whether they're stateside. Last year, they were in Times Square. It kind of kicked off with them in Times Square last year, didn't it? This time, of course, they'll be in California. They'll be in LA. So they can go, maybe a kickoff there or what have you. So it's one of the most enjoyable and fun times of the year. Certainly, this will be United View's third preseason tour that we've done. First one was in Thailand and Australia. Last year, once again, was in the US. And they're always great. They're always great. They're, they're crazy. They're crazy. But they're always great. They're always a lot of fun. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe now. Click the notification bell. I would recommend click the notification bell because time zones. That's the thing you've got to remember. Time zones, kind of the regular pattern doesn't tend to get followed. Obviously I always still be live 9 o'clock every single morning on a weekday, but other stuff can happen at any kind of time. Also, follow us on our socials at United View TV on everything. If you are out in the US or you are going to any of the games, you can find out what we're doing, what the plans are, anything like that, all over the socials. So yes, big up to that. Big up to them. Safe travels. I'm very excited. Yes. So what are people saying here at the moment? Owen, why do you never go on tour? Maybe one day. But yeah, maybe one day. But I gotta be here. I gotta do this. I want to bring you guys the match day coverage. Yeah, that's what we gotta do. What would happen to the Osylum? It would go into ruin if I wasn't here. If I wasn't around, the Osylum would be into disrepair. It'd be terrible. Oh, I couldn't think of anything worse. The Osylum going into that. Oh, no. Not a chance. But yes, so be sure to smash the like on the like button. And again, keep an eye out for all of that pre-season content. Right, let's talk about Ugarte. This is a really interesting one because suddenly this price has seemingly got completely out of hand, hasn't it? Indeed. So this is the report, and it's coming from Florian Plettenberg from Sky Sports in Germany, saying Manchester United have already made several verbal offers for Manuel Ugarte, but they have been too low. PSG are still demanding at least €70 million for Ugarte, who wants to join Manchester United. Negotiations are ongoing. Now it continues with Fabrizio Romano saying Manchester United had some conversations with Monaco to understand the availabilities of players of the likes of Youssouf Fofana, which we'll talk about later on, and Van der Sar. But internally, the main names United are discussing for the midfield are Manuel Ugarte and Sofian Amrabat. And when I saw that price being quoted by Florian Plettenberg, €70 million, I went, wait a minute. Oh, we need that on the soundboard. But I don't know if Robbie's actually said it like that. If someone can find Robbie actually saying and doing the wait a minute, like a good one, a good wait a minute, then send it to me, because that would be brilliant. But when I saw that price, I thought the other day it was like €59 million, and even that we were like, well, that's too high. We're not going to be going for that. We're not really interested in that. So where did 70 come from? Why in the space of like just a few days is it now going? Oh, it's actually 70, which again just so happens to be the number that allegedly they're going to be purchasing Neves for. That makes no sense. That makes zero sense whatsoever. So that price, I don't know if I fully believe. It had also been reported that if that Ugarte deal was going to happen, they were considering a loan with either an option or an obligation to buy, which to me makes more sense, because if you do look at other reports, other suggestions do kind of hint at that maybe whilst Man United like Ugarte, if everything was perfect, maybe he wouldn't be their first choice when it came to their midfield choices this summer, when it came to their midfield transfers this summer. So I always felt like maybe like a loan with an option or an obligation to buy would make more sense in that one. Obviously, we've heard those rumours or reports about, Zubimendi and others, which I just don't think will happen. I don't think that one will happen. I think he's very happy in Spain, and I think that's kind of why that one's just kind of been thrown out there, but there's nothing real, any sort of weight to it or anything like that. So with this Ugarte one, I said, well, if that legitimately is PSG's asking price, they go, €70 million, then if you're Man United in conversations with them, you just go, then why are we even having this conversation? Why are we even talking then? Because that's just not going to happen. And we know it's not true. We know that you want to get players off the books. We know that you want to sell players. We know that you want to make room to bring Neves in. So why are you trying to suggest this really high fee? That makes literally no sense. Again, it's baffling. It's baffling. It seems to me like a bit of information fed to Florian Plettenberg to say, we're demanding €70 million because they want United to raise their offer, whatever the offer may be. There's not going to be 70 million, but they just want it to get a bit higher. And they want United to feel like, oh, we're desperate or anything like that. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I mean, United are also reportedly, or according to ESPN yesterday, had offered Jadon Sancho to PSG, and they could be in conversations about him. How much that would be for? I mean, the suggestion was maybe 40, but if that is the case, if PSG are playing like that, suddenly that 40 should become like 60, or become even higher, become like 70. If we're just going to be crazy about prices here, if we're just going to arbitrarily just inflate the prices up and down for no reason, Sancho, Sancho. All right, now it's 60 now, 65 actually, if that's what you really want to do. It's odd, and maybe of Manchester United in the past, maybe with John Murtough and Richard Arnold, maybe that would have worked with them. I thought the other day you were saying 59. Well, we're saying 70 now. So yeah, it's gonna be 70 million. Well, okay. I mean, you're twisting my arm here, but all right, 70 million. Even though you've agreed, or you're close maybe to agreeing a deal for Neves for 70 million. Who we were interested in. So if we had 70 million to spend on a midfielder, why wouldn't we just go get Neves? I mean, that's why, again, the story just, you don't even have to poke holes in it. You just look at it on the face of it and go, well, those numbers there make 0 sense. 0 cents. So I don't know if I really buy into that price tag. I think it might just be media posturing from Paris Saint-Germain. I mean, when it comes to these deals now, I think the critical element to it is our ability to move players on. It's no coincidence when you think about it. The 2 players that we have signed this summer are to replace people that have already gone. So Rafael Varane left on a free transfer. In comes Lenny Oro. Anthony Martial leaves on a free transfer. Contract expires. Who do we bring in? Joshua Zirkzee. So it looks like that's probably going to be the pattern. Yes, we've saw a couple other names as well. Greenwood, Donny, Willy Cambuala, etc. But as far as Ugarte and as far as Mazraoui, or as far as anyone else really, it's going to be dependent on, and as far as Ligt, it's going to be dependent on, are we going to move those players on? If we sell Victor Lindelof or Harry Maguire, then that Ligt deal will probably happen. If we sell Scott McTominay or someone in midfield, then this Ugarte deal will probably happen. If we sell Aaron Wan-Bissaka, the Mazraoui deal or a right back will probably happen. So I do think that these negotiations, I mean, Florian Plettenberg kind of let it slip the other day too, when he was reporting saying United are trying to buy time. And when he said that, I went, that's very interesting he would say that. To me, it looks like, let's keep these talks going. With a lot of these moves, let's keep these talks going. Let's keep these negotiations going. We can't actually do the deal just yet. We can't actually get these deals over the line just yet because we need to sell players first. But let's get to the point where we're as close as we possibly can to doing these deals. And then the moment that we do sell a player, quickly, we can just do the deal. Done. Sorted. They can come in very quick. So I think that's kind of where all of this stands. And that's why I think that on the transfer front, unless we do move players on over the next few weeks, which I do think will eventually happen, but I do expect a lot of things to slow down. I think that and what we must do, I think, as fans, we mustn't get too carried away with all that. We mustn't get too greedy. I mean, we've been spoilt so far in this transfer window, haven't we? We've had 2 signings in a short amount of time. It was in the space of like a week. In addition to that, you look around and look at other clubs. They're not doing as much business. The transfer window's relatively quiet at the moment. So with all of that going on, we're like, oh, I want more. More signings, more here we goes. More terms agreed. I want more. And the reality is actually the window is quite quiet. And the reality is things are going to kind of slow down a little bit. And will these signings eventually come in? I think they probably will. Like, I think Ligt will probably happen. I know Simon Stone was saying this morning that the talks have failed to reach a positive conclusion. Well, I didn't get with that. I mean, I'm kind of skipping ahead a little bit here, but I saw with, again, Simon Stone said that these, talks between Bayern Munich and Manchester United for Matthijs de Ligt have failed to reach a positive conclusion. And people are freaking out. They go, they failed to reach a positive conclusion. When, again, the reality is, take a step back. The response to that is, well, no shit. We haven't signed him. So, of course, they haven't reached a positive conclusion. If they'd reached a positive conclusion, he'd be a Manchester United player. The deal would be done. We'd be getting a here we go. We'd be getting some kind of cryptic tweet from Manchester United. So that's not really new news, is it? That is the reality of the situation right now. Again, you can freak out about it, but the conditions for all of these deals to happen is actually quite obvious. But because of the delays of people coming back from the European Championships and Copa America, because of FFP and PSR, things are now going to slow down. Things are now going to be in a situation where it's one in, one out. And also, because of the start of the season, having maybe certain players not be available, I think there is a desire of certain clubs not to leave themselves like too short. They don't want to be like, oh, let's say hypothetically, we sold Aaron Wan-Bissaka and we couldn't get a right back in, and Dalot misses the majority of pre-season because he was with Portugal in the Euros. Do we want to leave ourselves really, really short going into the season? No. I think, again, that's why the plan is all of these transfers to get them as close to the finishing line as they possibly can. And then if they do get an offer or they can sell a player, they sell them and then that next person's brought in. So they don't have that gap where they miss out. and they don't have that gap where we're like, actually, we're really short actually for a couple of weeks. We didn't realise that. We didn't realise that at all. So we shall see with all this kind of stuff. I think Ugarte, definitely not going to get him for 70 odd million, are we? Possibly a loan. Maybe they'll come down on that price. But look, if they don't, once again, a bit like the Jared Brantwaite situation, walk away. Walk away. There are other options out there. We are not bound to one specific player. We are not bound to one specific target. Now, obviously, I think most United fans will say we need to get a midfielder this summer. That's in there with the likes of we need to get another fullback, specifically a left back, or we need another centre back. But we're not tied down to Ugarte. Would it be nice to have him? Of course. But if the conditions aren't right, Manchester United need to no longer be in the business of being bullied when it comes to transfers. And, you know, when it comes to likes of this kind of deal under these current conditions, would be something that that the opposition fans expect us to do. So you remember the way that the ops have tried to sort of gaslight us in suggesting that we've massively overpaid for Lenny Yoro. We've panicked. Manchester United haven't changed this, that, and the other. This is the kind of deal that they expect us to do. This is the kind of thing they expect us to do. 70 odd million euros for Ugarte. I thought they wanted 59. I thought it was a little bit lower. Well, and you could have got Neves for the same price. Yeah, but we just decided not to. So yeah, if we walk away, we walk away from that one. And as far as the ops too, I don't know if you saw this last night, guys. Manchester City kicked off their pre-season. They played Celtic on their tour. The likes of Erling Haaland and others played. Wouldn't you know it, they lost. They lost 4-3 against Celtic. Now I wonder what the media coverage of that is going to be today. I wonder if there's going to be big accounts and big outlets doing quotes from Pep saying that they're not ready. I wonder if there's going to be big accounts doing the graphics 4-3 and that. I wonder if there's going to be pundits out there going, oof, I don't know about that. I don't know about Manchester City. I don't know about that. I wonder if that is the case. Or is that only reserved for Manchester United? And obviously, look, who gives a shit about Manchester City? So that's probably answers my question right there. But that is why, again, I say to the United fans, ahead of this pre-season tour, it's just that. It is pre-season. So if there is a game on this tour that we don't win, okay, it is not the end of the world. So I think I'm actually really glad that game against Rosenborg happened, because that, I think, should serve as a reminder. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. The only thing that matters is sharpness, is fitness, is, again, getting legs under, getting minutes in your legs, is seeing, especially now where there's quite a lot of senior players not available because of the international competitions, looking at the youngsters, seeing who can step up, seeing who could maybe participate in the season more. The result is, not that the result doesn't matter at all, or performances don't matter at all, because why are we taking it so far in the other direction? Of course it does. But at the same time, not the end of the world. That's it. It's not. It's just pre-season. And I don't know why we have to rediscover what pre-season is every single season. And I know it doesn't matter, because if we do lose a pre-season game again, it will be once again, oh my God, this is the problem. This is it. We're going to finish 10th this season. We're going to get relegated. This is what it's going to be. Oh, what's wrong with Manchester United? We're not serious. Eric, get out the club, you fool. You don't know what you're doing. Oh, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. It's pre-season. Every single summer we go through this. But again, that's just an example. We've now seen in pre-season friendlies, Liverpool lose behind closed doors. That one, they put that out there. We've seen City lose their first game of pre-season. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't. It doesn't. The result is secondary. So just keep that in mind, guys. Yeah, keep that in mind. And it's more. That message is more to us. The reason I say that is because if we do lose, those same outlets or those same ops or the media, whatever, they'll try it again because they don't care. They don't. They'll try it again because they don't give a shit. And it's almost our responsibility to go, where's the flex button? It's I'll tell you what, they've moved stuff around in the soundboard and I don't like it. It's our responsibility when they're saying that to be like,
what the fuck are you talking about?
Pre-season, man.
What the fuck are you talking about?
That's what it should be, okay? Absolutely. Where are we at in terms of super chats here? Okay, Ninad says, are you following ESPN FC? Every day they talk about how Ten Hag is a joke. Can we really call this journalism? Yeah, like I said, but that's why they're not going to change. That's also the thing you've got to understand. They're not going to change, or that kind of coverage of Manchester United isn't going to change. You can call it out, obviously, and I think you should. But it's almost the responsibility of fans not to buy into it, isn't it? Of being like, I see what you're doing. Let's not. PS has been a member for 24 months. 2 years of support. Big up, PS. Appreciate the support. Says, Ligt, Ugarte will only start training in 1 or 2 weeks due to their national duty. Things will pick up when they are back from vacation. Stay calm. Stay calm! I did see something quite interesting this morning whilst you say about De Ligt. I saw something that's saying that Joshua Zirkzee is going to be flying out for the pre-season tour of the US. I think Simon Stone said it. But it was one of those weird ones where I saw lots of big accounts on social media pick it up and say that's going to be the case. But I couldn't see in the article where that was said. Which was strange. So, but lots of big accounts are saying it. So I'm assuming it would be accurate. I don't know. But then the information we had just the other day was that he wouldn't be flying out. So I would say we'll have to just wait on that, won't we? I would think we'll probably get a list of the travelling squad today as to who's going to be on the tour or if people are going to be joining up later on. So yeah, there was a bit of a confusing one because it was the latest article Simon Stone has written about United is about, once again, the redundancies at Manchester United. And there was a little bit about Lenny Yoro, saying Lenny Yoro was going to be on the tour, of course, because he played on Saturday. But I didn't see anything about Zirkzee in the article. But they're saying online that is going to be the case. So I guess Zirkzee's going to be there, I guess. So we will we'll see with that. What else are people saying? Love Rain says, Owen, are you telling you? I'm myself. Are you telling you will? Are you telling you will not be angry if you lose against Arsenal on Saturday? Angry is probably a bit of a strong word on that. Realistically, just ask the Arsenal fans last season. Really, I mean, we beat Arsenal twice in that pre-season friendly, didn't we? Beat them in normal time. We beat them on penalties. You had to have a penalty shootout at the end of it. Remember that one? And you do the little bit to the Arsenal fans going, we beat you, but it don't matter. I mean, we played each other, what was it, like 4 or 5 weeks later at the Emirates? I think people probably remember that game more than the pre-season one that we won, you know? So I think angry is a bit of a strong word, isn't it? It'd be like, oh yeah, see, we beat you, and you do the sort of football banter thing, but it's completely irrelevant, isn't it? It had no impact or bearing on last season, obviously, at all. And if you brought that up to Arsenal fans, be like, we beat you twice last season, they'd be like, okay. You know, it's pre-season. That's what it is. It's pre-season. It's game of football, really. So yeah, there you go. Where are we at in terms of the likes? We've got nearly 1,300 people watching, which is great. Closing in on 500 likes, currently at 362, less than 140 likes to go to 500. So if you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Let's see if we can get it to 500. Let's talk a little bit about Matthijs de Ligt, actually. Florian Plettenberg, once again, been a busy man, saying so far Manchester United are offering significantly less than 40 million euros for Matthijs de Ligt. FC Bayern have rejected every offer so far. They are firm about not negotiating on this. Manchester United or another club even though that kind of brackets or another club seems pretty strange considering De Ligt said, I only want to join Manchester United, have to pay €50 million plus bonus payments. De Ligt's sale price is an important internal issue. In this regard, Max Ebel must and should remain firm. They're not backing down. They're not backing down, and they want 50 million. Wow, that's not good, is it? My thing disappeared. Let me get that back up. Wow. Technical error. There we go. What do you call it? There you go. And we're back. Wow. Magic. The De Ligt bid's too low. This is one I was talking about earlier on. That I still feel like this one will happen. I still feel like De Ligt will end up becoming a Manchester United player. I just think now this one's just going to take a little bit of time. I just feel like this one's going to take a bit of time because we have to sell players. And we have to sell Lindelof or Maguire. And I mean, the more I think about, because I did the video yesterday, didn't I? I did the video yesterday about the players being offered. And it was quite interesting seeing that it's kind of different tiers involved here, isn't there? There's sort of the tiers of they've got a year left on their contract and they have to go this summer. So that's where like Lindelof, Wan-Bissaka, Eriksen kind of falls into that category. Then you've got the tier sort of below that, which is they still have time left on their contract, longer than a year. So we're open for offers. We're hoping people put offers in, but there's a bit more difficult to do because they've still got time left on their deals. That's where like Maguire, Anthony, Jadon Sancho, who else? Casemiro involved in that, McTominay, those kind of players fall into that category. So with that being said, it would look like that Victor Lindelof is going to be sort of the make weight for this one. And look, reality, they're saying 50 million euros is the price that they want. That's what, like 42 million quid. They're saying plus bonus payments, plus add-ons. We don't really know what the add-ons are, but it's not a bad price for, De Ligt, who's still, 24, 25, has already done a lot in his career. I mean, it's pretty good value. It's pretty good value for money, but it's just a case of our funds are tight. our funds are tight. But Manchester United do have some leverage in this too, because they know that also Bayern are in exactly the same position as us. They want to get Jonathan Tah, and they can't get Tah until they've sold De Ligt. So there is this sort of stalemate there of United going, well, we can't get him for the price that you want until we've got rid of a player. Unless you bring the price down, then maybe we can work something out much faster, much quicker. Then you can go get Jonathan Tah, or you're just going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait. And also, what does that total package look like? Okay, let's say it's 42 million quid, but what are those add-ons? Are there a lot of add-ons involved in that? Is it like 10 million quid in add-ons? Is it even more? Because suddenly that gets into the territory when you go, oh, I don't know about that. How would would that 42 million pounds be spread across? Would it be spread across 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? Do you want the majority of it up front? Because we're not interested in that either. Look at the deals that we've done thus far about spreading the cost over several years and not having a huge amount up front. So there's still a lot to figure out with all of that. United, according to those reports a couple of days ago, had put in a couple of bids. They were pretty like low bids, really, weren't they? Was it like 25 million quid or something like that? 30 million quid, something around that kind of number. So it's still quite a way off. But again, I'm not against it. I'm not against it because I am. After years of doing bad deals, I think United should get their money's worth and try their best to do good deals. I mean, it's like Michael Owen punditry, but it's true because we've done horrible deals for so long, terrible deals, and deals that in 2 or 3 years after the fact we go, oh, God, why did we do that? We've backed ourselves properly in a corner there. What have we done? That's so stupid. That's so bad. Look how much we paid for this player. Oh, my goodness me. No, we can't. Why do we never learn our lesson? And then we get into situations like this, where because we get impatient and we go, just pay the money. Just pay the money, do the money. That's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. So I still think, again, this one will happen. I do think it's a case of a player leaving to help facilitate it. Probably going to be Lindelof, because I think ultimately, I think Maguire's going to end up staying for another season, because I think that deal is too complicated to do. And Bayern, I think, are trying to force the issue because they want to do their business, right? They want to get Jonathan Tah in, and they're like, well, we can't do that until we get rid of Ligt. And Ligt's already got his heart and his mind set on going to Manchester United, and it's a case of waiting for all of these dominoes to fall a little bit, isn't it? But I still think ultimately this one will happen. Even if we do get him, once again, there's the territory of when will he be available. He was with the Netherlands squad. Didn't play, I don't think, any minutes at the Euros, but was with the squad. So there might be a bit of a delay when it comes to that. There's a bit of an update here from Fabrizio Romano. Look, every time I look to my left here, or on the right on the screen, it's because the things are popping up. The things are popping up. So we do have a bit of an update from Fabrizio Romano. I don't think it's worth clicking the breaking news button. He has said that Manchester United remain in discussion with PSG for Manuel Ugarte after the green light from the player and personal terms agreed last week. No agreement between the clubs yet. Man United are also in talks to decide how to proceed on new terms with Fiorentina for Sofian Amrabat. So there's kind of, it's not really, not really a huge update. We're still in talks. There's no agreement between the clubs just yet. Personal terms are agreed, as it was reported last week. The Amrabat one's quite curious, isn't it? The Amrabat one's quite curious with the new terms from Fiorentina. By all accounts, he was kind of doing the same thing that he had done last season, which is I'm gonna be training by myself. I want to go back to Man United. What do you guys think about the Amrabat situation? I mean, they're talking about, you've got to discuss new terms. So if Amrabat was to come back, what would those terms look like? Let me know in the chat what your terms would be to bring Sofian Amrabat back. Of course, I think his buy clause was like 20 million euros, and United said, absolutely no way, we're not going to do that. It's not going to happen. Are the new terms a loan? Are the new terms like significantly less? I mean, I did see like numbers of like 10 million euros kind of quoted, something like that. Does he have like a year left on his contract now as well? I think Amrabat Fiorentina contract. He's under contract until July 2025. So it's got to happen this summer, basically, I think. Got to happen this summer. Bear in mind, United have already paid, what was it, like 8.5 million quid, something like that, to sign him on loan last season in the first place. So United will take that into consideration too. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to another loan, perhaps, maybe. What are people saying here? Ahmad De Sanchez squad debt, bring it 15 million. 15 million. That's basically the price that was quoted, wasn't it? 20 million euros. That's like 50 million quid. Joe Blackman says, give the 7 mil. Colonel says 10 million max. Lil Yo says 8 to 10 million. Show says no terms, don't want him back. Get Rios instead. Although I saw that was funny, the Rios stuff, because wasn't it? United put a bid in 17 million quid or something, and then next thing you know, the other reports go, they want the release clause at 75 million pounds. So what? Kristen says less than 10 million. Makish says 10 mil plus add-ons. Ahmad Deshan says 50 million euros. Why are we doing everything in euros? We got to do everything in pounds. The currency conversion. The only time of the year that I start knowing how like the currencies are weighing up against each other is in the transfer market. It gets mad, isn't it? People quote in euros, people quote in pounds, sometimes people do it in dollars. Don't know why. It's mad. SLD says 5 million in Dangle. John James says 8 million. Yeah, I mean, again, I think he's got a year left on his contract, so something would have to happen, I guess, permanently if that was to be the case. It'd have to be small. It'd have to be really, really small, I think. I'd be looking at like between 5 to 8 million pounds. I'm talking that small, because we've already paid like 8.5 million, and if he was to come in, it would be a case. He wouldn't be, I don't think, a starter. I don't know. He was towards the end of the season, and I know he started the FA Cup final, but I think United clearly are looking for that bigger midfielder signing, and I don't even know if that's Ugarte. By the way, I don't know if that's Ugarte. But my only worry is, and this is kind of, I suppose, the debate that probably United would be having at the moment, is in a summer where you're talking about funds being tight and one in and one out, that kind of stuff. Do you risk, putting, let's say it's like 8 million or 10 million quid. Let's say it's something like that. It's around that number. Do you risk putting that on Amrabat? All right, he's here permanently now, cool, done, and he's still going, but we still got midfield problems, we're still light. Or do you do the bigger amount of money and go for a midfield, long-term midfield partner with Kobbie Mainoo? Is that what you should do? So it's an interesting one, and I think certainly the debates that Manchester United are having at the moment. Where are these super chats at the moment? Ivor Clip says, it's the perfect time to sell Rashford to PSG. Well, I know I said anything can happen in this transfer window, and I suppose anything certainly is possible. I don't think Marcus Rashford's going anywhere. I think that if something was to happen with him and his exit from United, I think it would be next summer. I think that this season's going to be all about, re-establishing himself, showing everyone that last season was a one-off, whether you believe it is or isn't. But he's not going anywhere, is he? Yeah, he's not. And that's also when I say about managing expectations, in the sense of he's not going to go. And if when the window shuts, we shouldn't be like, I can't believe we didn't get rid of Marcus Rashford. Christopher, with a super chat as well, says 70 for Ugarte and 40 for Sancho's, and 40 for Sancho, better season. I don't think we're paying 70 million for Ugarte. And the Sancho one's interesting. Sancho's one's really interesting because it depending on who you listen to, which report you listen to, is about who's kind of like who's really driving things. So the first report from Santi Una was sort of saying that they've agreed personal terms with Jadon Sancho. Like, wow, that kind of seems like PSG are really interested. Sancho's really interested. This one's going to happen. And then yesterday, you get from ESPN going, well, United offered Sancho to PSG, which then leads into the school of thought of, well, United kind of reintegrated him to put him back in the shop window, as it were, but they still want to sell him this summer. I don't know what's going to happen with Jadon Sancho. I really don't. I have not a clue. I didn't even think he'd be back. So I think at this point, who even knows what's going to happen with Jadon Sancho? I think it would be really interesting to see what happens if an offer of 40, 50 million was put down onto the table for Sancho. I think that would be really interesting. So we shall see. John James says, Owen, ESPN are awful United trolls. Well, this was written by the likes of Rob Dawson or whatever. So, I mean, I would tend to agree in terms of ESPN's coverage. Was it Stevie Nichols and Craig Burley and what have you? Yes, they are rubbish. And the social media accounts. But with the likes of, Rob Dawson and what have you, then I sort of go, well, maybe there's an element of truth in that. But to be honest, I mentioned this yesterday too when I did the video. And this is something to consider with all of these stories today, by the way, is that nobody knows. A lot of this stuff, nobody knows. And previously, nobody would have knows because United weren't doing anything. And it was just like, well, they're not doing anything, so we've got to say something. We've got to write something. Let's put something out. In this case now, United are actively working on a lot of things. United are working on a lot of deals, incoming and outgoing, but nobody knows because they're keeping all of the information really, really close. And once it comes out, once they let it come out, then suddenly everyone picks it up and it's really quick and everyone's on top of it. The reality is that for the majority of this stuff, the first people to break these stories about the signings that we have done or the exits that we have done is Ornstein, is Romano. You know, he's done a couple of exclusives, but particularly with the likes of, was it Cambuala and others? But he's done a couple of exclusives. Obviously, he did the thing about the personal terms with Ugarte. And then you're talking about sort of local journalists or sort of regional-based journalists. So obviously the one in France was like, Lenny Oro, he's talking to United. I was it's bullshit. He's a Man United player now. So no one really knows unless they are the top-tier journalists or they're really, really close. Really, really close to the situation. So with all of this kind of stuff, you'd have to take kind of all of it with a pinch of salt because no one really knows what's going on. So that's why I say, with that report yesterday, with from ESPN about Sancho being offered, that could be true, could not. It might not be true. This whole thing about, I know Damesh did a thing saying that PSG were interested, but Santi Una said that personal terms were agreed. That might be a bit of a stretch too. So I think a lot of people are just trying to fill in gaps when it comes to Manchester United because they're not sure really what's actually going on. We're 22 likes away from 500, by the way, guys. So if you haven't already, click the like button. Let's see if we can get it up to 500. Where are we at next? Where are we going to next? Well, I suppose speaking of midfield targets, we can talk about Fofana. This is quite an interesting one too. So this came from Gianluca Damasio saying that Manchester United and Atletico Madrid have joined the race alongside AC Milan for Yusuf Fofana. Monaco are asking for 35 million euros. Now, this is quite interesting because once again, but you never know, it looked like Fofana was on his way to AC Milan, didn't it? Now, that could be the same could be said about Joshua Zirkzee. He looked like he was on his way to AC Milan. It didn't end up happening. And the price is less than what is being quoted for Ugarte. I don't know how much I buy into this one, in all honesty, though, because it does feel like this has been very, very, very peripheral, doesn't it? This feels like it's been very, very peripheral. It looks like United kind of, looking or just assessing their options, as it were. But I'd be quite surprised by this one. It does feel like, again, that he was going to AC Milan or other clubs, and United are kind of, sometimes with these kind of stories, United tend to get kind of lumped in. Go, well, yeah, and United are interested. You go, oh, that's interesting. United are interested. I didn't hear about that one. So I don't know how much I really kind of, again, buy into that one. We'll see if anything gets more sort of concrete in the next couple of days. But I think one thing's definitely to be said. This morning we've spoken about it. You've got Ugarte, Fofana, talks about whether Amrabat is brought back or not. There is certainly an intention by Manchester United, isn't there? They want to get a central midfielder in this transfer market. That is one of their key targets. Again, if you're going to look at positions that United want to get, you would say central midfielder. You would say, obviously, another central defender, which is the Ligt, and a fullback. I think now, and this has got quite interesting, actually, with the fullback situation, is that previously it was like, oh, we've got to get a left back. And I was very, very big on that. We've got to get a left back. Luke Shaw, just throughout the season, we know he's going to get injured again. We know that's going to happen. We know he's going to get hurt at some point. Eric Ten Hag said it himself towards the end of the season. He can't play 60 games a season because of his injuries that he's had in the past. We need another left back. Malacia, he's back out training on the grass, not with the foot, not with the team or anything like that, but his recovery from his injury is still ongoing. So we need a left back, and we still do. But it now kind of looks like, doesn't it, that the fullback that we signed this summer might actually be someone that's multifunctional, might actually be someone that plays as a right back and a left back, can play as both, and maybe things have pivoted a little bit, I think, with that one. But as far as this Fofana stuff, as I mentioned, I'm not sure I totally see it. I do think we're gonna see some stuff over the next few days where we get linked with quite a few different midfielders. But I don't think the Fofana one's gonna happen, in all honesty. What else are people saying here in the chat at the moment? Skilliana says Luke Shaw shouldn't be as bad as last season if we get a better medical team that can actually read scans. Well, even the problem is with Shaw is even if we have a top-notch medical team. It's just the case of he can't play every game. Even if Luke Shaw was healthy, he can't play every single game. Not that, that's a prerequisite for every player, because most players aren't Bruno Fernandes in terms of how readily available they are. But eventually, we do have to kind of learn our lesson when it comes to all this kind of stuff, don't we, with him, which is he's not going to be available for portions of the season. It's just going to happen. When he does play, he plays well. But he played for England at the end of the Euros. Missed most of the tournament, but he did play. You went, oh, wow. You kind of forget, don't you, go? He's pretty good. Luke Shaw, he's not bad. Just not available. So we need that left back that's going to be the heir apparent, but also needs to be kind of ready now. And, then you kind of manage Luke Shaw as it goes through the season, really. And again, maybe that's by getting a multifunctional fullback that can play on both sides. I don't know. But we desperately need a fullback. And again, even the best medical team, if you managed it, would just be a case of managing him. It wouldn't be a case of, he's never going to get hurt again. He's never going to pick up an injury. It'd just be like, well, no, he just can't play every game. So you're going to have to get more people around him, basically. You're going to have to get more options at fullback. That's what it's going to need to be. So, yes, that's the latest when it comes to Fofana. We did hit 500 likes. Big up, everyone, for hitting 500 likes. Excellent stuff for a solo transfer view here in the morning. A reminder, Flex, KG, Just Josh. I did see him in the chat earlier on with the eyeballs emoji. He's always watching. They're going to be flying out to the United States today. So the preseason content is right around the corner. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. How many subscribers are we currently at? 171,592. Only 8 away from 600 in 171,000. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. As I mentioned, the preseason content is on the way, whether that's in the airport or in LA, whether that's the stadium crashes, whether that's the interviews after the game with players, with fans, with Flex, with KG, whether that's the collaborations and all that fun stuff, whether that's the vlogs, it's all coming. It's all coming. So be sure to get involved. I know you guys are really excited about that, and you kind of got a bit of a taster, bit of a teaser about that with that on Saturday with the game against Rangers, which a lot of people really enjoyed. So that's on the horizon. Right, finally, a little bit about Mazraoui. Yes, the latest when it comes to Mazraoui and West Ham's interest. We know West Ham are certainly they're in the market for a right back this summer. Now, Paul Hurst from the Times was saying that Manchester United are looking to sign a right back, with Mazraoui thought to be among their targets. Bayern Munich are willing to sell Mazraoui for between 17 to 21 million pounds, but United must sell Aaron Wan-Bissaka before making a move. Continued on by saying, Eric Ten Hag, this is where I thought this report sort of was like, this is bullshit. Ten Hag believes that Mazraoui could help unlock the potential of Antony, who played in front of him on the right flank at Ajax. A little bit of an update this morning came from Florian Plettenberg, saying that West Ham, and he, I think, was the first to break the story that United and West Ham were interested, said are still pushing to sign him. More talks with Bayern in the last hours. Bayern are more than willing to sell the 26-year-old. Bayern now demand at least 20 million euros. No agreement with West Ham yet. Tim Steiden and Julian Lopetegui want him. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, the top alternative. Mazraoui is keen to play in the Premier League next season. He's also on the list of Manchester United as revealed. Now, let me take it bit by bit here. That report, like I said, where nobody knows. That, to me, I think, the first part, the one from the Times, from Paul Hurst, is the perfect example of nobody knows. Because that is fill in the gaps. I've got a word count, brother. Let's just put stuff in. Why do you want to sign Mazraoui? Unlock Antony, of course. Unlock Antony. Come on. That's not the reason why Man United are going to be going after him. I want to get the best out of Antony. Antony's not even first or second choice at right wing anymore. Just a couple of days ago, you writed how it's going to be Ahmad's season. It's a big season for Ahmad. And if it's not Ahmad, it's going to be Garnacho on the right-hand side. But now we're going to be signing a right back. We're signing a whole player. Not because we just need a right back, but to unlock Antony. Is that what we're really trying to suggest here? Come on. It's bullshit. There's nonsense. It just a weird. When like again, you read these reports or you read these articles, you go, okay, the interest in Mazraoui. Yeah, lots of people are saying that to unlock Anthony. Oh, come on, really? That's why we're getting him. Come on, that's just ridiculous. So no, we are not going to be getting Mazraoui to unlock Anthony. That is not going to be the case. If we do sign Mazraoui, it'll be because Man United are in the market for a right back. They would have sold Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's got a year left on his contract, so they'll need to replace him. And, as is often, he can't beat the allegations or accusations, can he, Ten Hag? Ten Hag knows him. Ten Hag knows him. He's worked with him before. He did well at Ajax. Maybe hasn't worked out as well or as much at Bayern Munich. But would be a good addition or useful addition to squad. Obviously, concerns about his injury record. But it's got nothing to do with Anthony. Nothing to do with... Okay, we're looking at right backs here because why? Well, Aaron might be leaving. Year left in his contract, and we're kind of looking for just a bit more of a sort of technically proficient player. Okay. So what kind of attributes are we looking at? Okay, we're looking at passing. We want to be comfortable on the ball. That's right. Yeah, cool. Passing. That's a good one. What else are we looking for? Obviously, defensively, it's not going to be good as one-on-one Wan-Bissaka, but defending one-on-one. Defending one-on-one. Good. Pace. Nice. Ability to unlock Anthony. Well, let's put that top. Yeah. Ability to unlock Anthony. That one's, that's good. Let me put that into our mega computer, our supercomputer here, and we've got Mazraoui. That's the one we've got. Mazraoui. Ability to unlock Anthony. That's the one we're looking for. I mean, what?
Oh dear.
I mean, quite literally.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Mad. Ridiculous. So take that with a pinch of salt. I think there's definitely interest, obviously. Lots of different people have reported it at this point. So I think the interest is there. A bit like with the centre-back situation, it'll be a case of if Wan-Bissaka leaves, which it looks increasingly like that he will, then obviously they'll go get a right back. Same with the centre-back one. If the centre-back goes like Lindelof, they'll go get Ligt. They want to get rid of a Lindelof or someone like that to bring in Ligt. So we shall see with that, but it certainly is not going to be. It's not going to be to unlock Anthony. And as I mentioned earlier on, I think it's a case of that fullback target has suddenly the one thing that actually is important with it is the ability to play at both left and right back, because that left back signing might also be a right back signing as well, if that makes sense. I think maybe the hope had been, we're just going to bring in a left back and then that's going to be the support for sure, and we'll see what happens with Malacia. But now it's kind of become, well, maybe Wan-Bissaka is going to have to leave and we bring in someone that is predominantly a right back, but in the meantime, whilst sort of, we're waiting for Luke Shaw to come back off international duty and Malacia's going to come back, maybe they've got to actually be a left back too. They've got to have the ability to play on both sides. They've got to be sort of multifunctional, and maybe that's where Mazraoui kind of fits in. Maybe that's the point where Mazraoui fits in. But the concern once again would be, like I mentioned, when it comes to him, there is some concerns about injuries. And once again, you'd have the thing of, are we going to have 3 fullbacks that are injured? I mean, how cursed was the Manchester United just fullback position in general, particularly the left back spot last season? Oh my God. I don't know if I could deal with it. Again. So we shall see. But I suppose the critical thing is what Florian Plettenberg is also sort of suggesting this morning is that if West Ham do go get him, then what happens with Wan-Bissaka? I mean, it looked like that Wan-Bissaka was going to West Ham. If they go get Mazraoui, then where's Wan-Bissaka going to go? Because it looked like at the moment West Ham was the most interested party. So, yeah, that's something to look at too, isn't it? So, we shall see. But again, I think when it comes to all the transfer stuff, I do think things are going to quiet down a bit in comparison to how they were a week or so ago when it was just completely insane. I think things will die down a little bit when it comes to now being on pre-season and getting a bit closer to the start of the season and seeing which players are available, aren't available, and seeing how teams start the season too, I think will factor into it. So stay tuned. We'll see what happens. Of course, if we do get any breaking news, of course, I'll be here and I'll go live, go live for the algorithm and join you guys to deliver that breaking news. As far as what's on tap for the rest of the day, well, we'll see what happens when it comes to the travel of Flex, KG, and Just Josh Media Graphics Guru Visual Ninja as they're on their flights to Los Angeles, California for the preseason tour. Hopefully we'll hear from them today. And then, as I mentioned, in the meantime, if something else happens today, if we get any more breaking news, I shall be here. So there you go. We're 2 likes away from 600. So if you haven't already, click the like button. Let's get it to 600. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Stay tuned for everything else coming up later on today. And I'll speak to you again very soon. I'm out of here. Peace.